Hello YouTube, this is DrumRollTony and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. In this video I'll be showing you the musical notation similarities of the original Huntress Lullaby versus her new version. We will also take a quick look at the Godfather theme, as that comparison was brought up by DVD Leaks on Twitter. Alright, let's get into it. Let's take a moment to learn a little bit about the Huntress and the lullaby that she is humming. Before she was known as the Huntress, she was a young girl named Anna living in solitude with her mother in a cold, remote cabin in the northern woods of Russia. We know that the song was taught to her by her mother, as that is the last happy writing in her backstory. It reads, "Drifting off to sleep with stories and lullabies, she dreamt happy dreams, ignorant of the events that would soon change everything." From there, a bunch of obligatory tragic DBD lore events take place that eventually turn her into a murderous hunter. That's a whole story for a different video. Anyhow, the song she learned from her mother is a real-life Russian lullaby called Bayu, Bayushki, Bayu. The lyrics warn children to not sleep close to the edge of the bed as they risk getting snatched by a wolf and dragged off into the woods. I always thought the melody was super eerie, but I had no clue that's what the song was about. There are many versions of the lullaby floating out there on YouTube, but this one is easily my favorite. Let's take a listen.
Баю, баюшки, баю, не ложись на краю, придет серенький волчок и ухватит за бочок. Он ухватит за бочок и потащит в лесок, и потащит в лесок. Под ракитовый кусток. К нам, волчок, не ходи, нашу Машу не буди. Баю, баюшки, баю.
Wow, that is such a haunting piece of music. In Dead by Daylight, the adult version of Anna, the Huntress, took place during World War I. Her lore depicts her hunting local villagers and German soldiers that unfortunately stumbled their way into her side of the forest. They called her a ghoul and a monster. They also told tales of her being a bodark, which is a person that willingly becomes a werewolf. That seems to fit perfectly with her lullaby being her distinctive characteristic. So just how old is this song? I did some research, and according to Google, the tune was first published in 1811 and the lyrics were published in Paris in 1869. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a composer or the publishing company. However, I did find some interesting information on the YouTube channel that had the version of the lullaby that we listened to earlier. This lullaby was created in ancient times in provincial Russia when many of Russian people did not live in big cities like Moscow, but in villages located in distant, dense forests or near them. In the most severe winters, starving packs of wolves in those days left the forest at night in search of food and attacked livestock, village dogs, and people who left their homes. That is why for a Russian person, the question of how the wolf could be near residential buildings is understandable. I have no idea how accurate that is, but it's definitely interesting to read. Okay, so let's get into the musical side of all of this. We will take a look at the original Huntress Lullaby first. The song itself is very simple musically, as most lullabies are. It's in the key of D minor and harmonically flows over two chords, D minor and A7. The melody itself is 2 measures long and only consists of 5 different notes. Those notes are A, C sharp, D, E, and F. Taking away the Dead by Daylight version in the background, we can have this music software play the theme. Obviously, it's a very different version as the voice has been turned into a MIDI piano sound and the rhythms are basic with no phrasing or musicality. Now let's take a listen to the beginning of the new Huntress Lullaby and observe the musical differences. Strange cackles aside, we can see there are some musical differences immediately. The new version starts off in the key of C minor for 2 bars and then changes to D minor, the same key as the original lullaby. What is more interesting to me is that this lullaby actually has a new melody different from the song Bayu, Bayushki, Bayu. Here is a new melody with the note names. For this comparison, let's just look at the 3rd and 4th measures since those are in the same key as the original one, D minor. The notes we have are A, B flat, D, E, and F. The main note difference is that we no longer have a C sharp, but rather that B flat. Let's take a listen to the new melody one more time. Going back to the music software, let's listen to the original and then the new. These melodies are definitely not the same. The original starts with 4 A's, then leaps up playing D, F, then E. The new has only 2 repeated A's and has a different chordal outline as it leaps up to D, F, E, D, and then F. The second measure is almost the same except for the difference of having a C sharp in the original versus the B flat in the new. This small difference on paper is a major difference when listened to, as it implies the original is in D harmonic minor versus the new being in D natural minor. So what do they sound like if we stack them on top of each other and play them at the same time? Let's find out. Alright, that was cool. We start off with some unison notes, so there's no difference, but then pretty quick we get some clashing and dissonance as the melodies differ. So we can conclude from this experiment that while the music is in the same overall key, sharing many similar notes, the loss of that C sharp giving us that melodic minor feel is definitely gone. The new Huntress Lullaby is a different melody. So how close, if at all, is the new lullaby to the Godfather theme? Let's find out. If we put the Godfather theme in the same key, we see we have a couple of similarities in note names, but that's about it. Let's have a quick listen. So yeah, not really the same melody at all, but here is why we think of it though. In the Godfather theme, the first note is a D jumping up to a G. That is a distance of a fourth. Then it goes up a minor third to a B flat and resolves down A to G. The new Huntress Lullaby does the exact same interval contour. It starts on an A, jumps up to a D, which is the same distance of a fourth, goes up another minor third to the F, and then resolves down E to D. Those are the same intervals, so your ear generally hears that famous melody. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. My name is DrumRollTony and I stream Dead by Daylight on Twitch. Catch me there for live content. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace out.